Hola! Hey, it's Bo the Mechanic. Making another video for you guys. I've been gone for a while, but I'm back. I've had too much work to do, so I haven't had time to make these little videos. What we got working on today is a trailer. This is a 7-ton skid steer trailer. It's a 16-foot, really heavy duty. It's got twin 7,000-pound axles, and this one has electric brakes on it. So what I'm going to show you guys how to do is how to change electric brakes, how to figure out what's going on with your electric brakes. This is really common on equipment and heavy equipment, and anybody that has a trailer. Most car trailers nowadays come with at least one electric brake, and if not both, okay? So, like I said, that skid steer right there fits on this trailer. I use it for all types of stupid stuff, and it was getting really crappy. So I replaced all the boards, took that crappy rough cut off, and welded in support beams. The spans were kind of crazy on this specific trailer, but a lot of the new ones are a lot nicer. But this one, like I said, is old. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. So, basically the trailer's been sitting for a long time. I got it back, got it here, ripped the floor off, put the new floor on, fixed the span that I said that we had an issue with a few years ago, and just wanted to go through it. So, aired up all the tires and checked them all out. All these tires are still fine. Checked and repacked all the bearings, okay, which are going to be right inside here. If you guys have a trailer and you don't know much about it, you definitely want to check your bearings, okay? And so as soon as, a quick way to do that, as soon as you jack it up, right now the skid steer's holding this thing up, but I've got it jacked, with a little jack stand there. But what you want to do is jack it up and push on the wheel. Push on it this way, that way. If you can feel the wheel go in and out, then you've got something going on with your bearings. You should check this at least once a year if you've got a trailer and you use it. Okay, nothing's worse than using your trailer and the bearings are horrible, and maybe the grease is gone, and you try and pull it a couple miles. All of a sudden, the hub, which is this thing right here, will get scorching hot. You can barely touch it; it'll be smoking, and basically your bearings have just destroyed themselves. And that happens because people let them sit for so long. You don't use these that often. A lot of people don't use them that often, so they'll sit for a year. All of a sudden, you grab it once a year, hook it up to your truck, and go. You don't check anything, you don't check any tolerances, and the bearings have gotten water and moisture and condensation inside here. That's what holds your bearings right inside here. It gets all that nasty crap in there, and then your bearings are toast. So like I said, one quick thing, at least once a year you need to jack up your trailer, push on your tires and see if they've got, lateral movement or whatever inside and out. If you can push it like this, you need to address your bearings. On this specific trailer, the bearings were already fine. I just went ahead, for safety's sake, I yanked all the tires off and repacked the bearings, checked all the clearances, and then put them all back together. I already did all 3 tires except for this one, and I wanted to show you guys in this quick little video kind of how to diagnose this electric brake issue. Okay, electric brakes kind of confuse people a lot of times. This specific trailer is really simple. This has got what's called drum electric brakes, okay? It's just drums, just like on an old pickup truck, but they're even more simple. And it's got a little electromagnet inside here, and it's just got 2 wires going into the back of it, okay? And those 2 wires, one's a ground and one's a power, okay? A power supply. So it's not complicated, just 2 wires, okay? So if we had all the boards and stuff off this trailer, you'd be able to see right up underneath here, there'd be a wire. And there's 2 wires. It comes in like this. One is a ground and one is a positive. It goes into here. And right in here somewhere there'll be a connection too, where 2 more wires split off to the other side, to that tire over there, okay, on that brake. So just 2 wires going to that one and 2 wires going to this one, and they're all in series. So it's really just, like I said, one's a ground, and it supplies ground to this wheel and the other wheel, and then one's a power, and it's the same thing. The power goes to this wheel and that wheel. You don't have to do anything magical. So when this thing's hooked up to your truck, you'll have, your 5 or 6 wire plug, whatever plug you got, and your brake controller is inside your truck, and all that brake controller does is supply voltage and variable voltage. It might supply 10 volts or 9 volts or 8 volts or whatever it might be, and the less voltage, the less hard that it pushes on this electromagnet in here. If it's only got 8 volts or whatever, it barely pushes, and if it's got 12 or 14, it locks the damn thing up, and this thing wouldn't even spin, it just locks down. Well, now I'm going to show you guys what it looks like on the inside. So, the first thing, like I said, is you check your trailer all the time. Yank it up in the air and press on it. Press on your wheels and see if they still have any movement, in and out. Check your brakes. Let's say that your brakes, they're not working. Let's say, oh man, my trailer brakes. I hit the controller, the brake controller switch, and it doesn't lock the tires up in the back of the trailer. Okay, you got an issue there. You got to go grab a test light, put your test light out, and just have somebody get in the truck and press your slide, your brake controller slide. Walk back here with the test light. They're usually blue. Okay, as you can see on this one, not in the greatest shape, but there we go. This is a 5-wire, okay? As you can see, it's a 5-wire, and it's always blue, almost always, unless it's been rewired. Blue is going to be your signal, and it's going to go all the way to your brakes. Blue is the power supply, the 12 volt, 14 volt, whatever you want, call it, power supply going to the back tires. And just on this trailer, it's got just one on this side and one on that side. So that goes straight from your brake controller all the way down the trailer to right there. And like I said, it'll give you 8 volts, 10 volts, 12 volts, 11 volts, whatever it might be, depending on how hard you're pressing the brakes. And that's what you're paying for when you buy a brake controller. As you can see, this thing's been ripped, but as you can see, there's a blue right in there. That blue right there is my control. So when this thing was wired up. So like I said, okay, if it's not working, the first thing you want to make sure is, are you getting a good connection here? And are you getting voltage to light your test light up here? Let's just say right here. So if I had a test light, I would just ground it somewhere, like just use a wire brush or something, and I'd sand it off right here and clip my one end of my test light to right here, and then I'd probe this wire and have somebody sit in the truck and push the controller lever. And if it lights up, then great, we got power to here. Now let's go down further down. And that's basically how you troubleshoot these things, and it happens a lot because they get ripped, you know, it's a trailer. The wires get ripped, you don't ever know what happens. So then you might come all the way to right here. See right here, oh look, that's what I'm talking about. Those are the 2 wires that I'm talking about. These 2 wires right here go right into this drum. And like I said, one's a ground and one's power. So if you got your little probe, you'd come right here, say, and you scratch this up and hook, this is a good ground now, and then you look for that test light to light up by probing either one of these wires while somebody's pushing the controller. And if you're not getting power here, then you got an issue of no power. You know, maybe your controller's bad, maybe, you know, whatever's going on, but you need to figure that out first. At any rate, okay, so now I'm going to show you guys how to do it. Really simple. I took the cap off, the dust cover cap, which looks just like that one. I just popped it off with a screwdriver. You can take a screwdriver and a hammer and beat it down and just kind of walk your way around it and just work the dust cap off. Okay, now what do we got in here? Now, I've already been in here, so it kind of looks like I have been. What's going to be in here is a cotter pin, okay? And my cotter pin and stuff is all right here. Like I said, I've already been in here. Okay? So there's my dust cap. That's an inner seal. You guys don't need to worry about that right now. So this cotter pin would be right in here. Okay? So I pried it up. Yeehaw. Okay, now these bolts are usually finger loose. You know, they're pretty loose. They're not, you don't have to tighten the shit out of these. These just hold the bearings in snugly. Okay? So a lot of times you don't even need a socket this size. You just need a flathead and a hammer. And you can tap it that way, you know, tightening it, or you can tap it the other way and loosen it. So now we're loosening it. We're taking it apart. I'm going to show you guys what these look like on the inside, and I'll show you the rebuild kit that I've got. As you can see, nothing really holds this in. Just that. That's why it's so important that you check everything, because the only thing that holds your damn brake tire on is this washer, okay? And you can see it's kind of got a little indentation in it, so it locks it in. That bolt and that cotter pin. So really, just the bolt and the cotter pin hold everything together. Now this is your inner bearing, okay? Inner bearing. Looky there. There's your inner bearing. Now, you know, as you can see, there's grease on this one. I haven't re-greased this. This just means that the trailer has had good grease in it. But a lot of times you'll get in there and there won't be any grease in there, and that's when your trailer's got bad issues. And that's when your bearings will lock up and cause you all types of grief. So now I'm trying to... it's nice and heavy. There you go. There's the inside. This is the drum, just like on a pickup truck, and there's your shoes, okay? They're your shoes, not rocket science. Like I said, these are so simple. This is your inner bearing. I'm gonna slide it off, and as you can see, it's caked in grease, and now I'm crusty. Okay, very simple. This is your shoe. This is your other shoe, okay? As this magnet gets energized by that 12 volt power that I told you guys about, there's the 2 wires. Power comes in and the ground comes in. This thing gets activated and it pulls towards the drum, towards the steel lining of the drum, because it's grounded. just like a magnet does, positives and negatives. And what it does when it does that is it pushes this thing. And you can see it spins that square and it pushes those things out. You see that? You see what I'm doing there? And when it does that, it presses and exerts force against this drum and locks the drum down. And that's how your brakes work on a trailer, on an electric trailer. Okay, really simple. All right. So now, as you can see, there's no friction material left. There's nothing. It's just steel. This is just steel now on steel, and you know, there's nothing that you can do about that. You can have them relined actually, but there's no real point. You can go buy the whole new brake pads, the new shoes, for 26 bucks each. And I've got one right here, $29.95 from Redline Trailer Repair Parts, which I think is a ripoff. You should be able to buy that for like $5 for these brakes because they're cheap and worthless. Okay, that's neither here nor there. Okay, but anyway, so now you've basically seen how the system works, okay? And like I said, you can see we're right in here. I've already got little holes in it, little nicks in the wire. I did that just to check and make sure that these things are activating. And then you might say, well, how do we know if they're working or if they're not working? Well, if it's hooked to your truck and it's working, you should know it, because you can just be, you know, back up on a little bit of a hill and you can hit your controller and it'll lock the trailer brakes down and it won't want to move. The trailer won't want to move. It'll just drag the tires and drag the gravel or something like this on this material here. Okay, you know, so that's the one way. If it's hooked up and you know everything's working, you can see it working, you can feel it try and slow the truck down. Okay, but let's say, for instance, on this thing, I just got this trailer here and I don't know if they work or if they don't work. Okay, well, same kind of thing goes for a lot of other videos. All I did was get a battery. You can see that battery sitting over there. You get a battery and get two wires, you know, one of the positive and one of the negative, and take a razor blade and slide these back a little bit so you get to the copper wires. Okay, each one. Okay, and then you just hook your battery directly to it and you'll hear it engage. Okay, when you put this rotor back on, you're probably not going to be able to do it from right here. You're probably going to have to do it from back here. As you can see, I've already done that as well. You guys can kind of see there where I've spliced the wires a little bit. And so what I did was I spliced the wires back in here and I hooked my wires, my positive and my negative. It doesn't really matter which way you orient them. You can do it either one, positive or negative, doesn't matter. Each way, doesn't matter. The magnet will work either way. It just pushes it one way or the other. So with this thing back together and that thing in, you'll hear it. You'll hear it make a noise. It kind of makes a hum noise or a click. Okay, and that's the magnet energizing and slapping against this. Okay, and the other way you can tell that it's working is once you put current, positive and negative currents to these wires back here, you can try and spin the drum. You can try and spin this thing and it won't want to turn. Okay, and that tells you that the magnet's still working and you've got a good magnet. Okay, because there's no point in wasting money if your magnet and everything's broken in this. They also sell, you know, they sell the linings for $29, but they also sell this entire backing assembly with, you know, this whole metal plate and the wires and everything run through for $79. So that might be a good idea for a lot of you guys if you're questioning whether or not your trailer works. You know, maybe my backing plate doesn't work, my magnet doesn't work. Well, hell, just go buy a whole nother one with brakes and the magnet for $79. And then you just unbolt it from right here and then slides off. And your spindle and everything, as you can see, is it'll still be here. This doesn't move, but just these bolts right here will come off. Those bolts come off, the whole backing plate comes off. So that's one solution for you too if you got a nice looking trailer, but the brakes aren't working and you want to get them working. Okay. So anyway, so what am I going to do now? Well, right now, I'm going to switch these brakes out, just the shoes, these pieces. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to take these springs right here free, 1 and 2. I'm going to take these holding pins free, 1 and 2. Okay, and there's also a little spring back down here, a thinner spring. And this right here is just called the adjuster. Okay, and this adjusts the drums and pushes them away or together. And so what will happen is, you know, as your brakes wear, obviously the material right here slowly reduces and goes down, okay? And this adjuster, you can adjust it to push the drums, the shoes, closer to the actual metal, okay? So, that's like a crash course 101 to how trailer brakes work and how you can check them if you don't know what's going on, or how to just fix them if they're broke, such as me in this situation, all right?